Every work needs a lot of determination and it needs a lot of effort and hard work. And every human being at the end, they want comfort. But if they get comfort in excess, that's when they want hard work. It's it's a never being satisfied with your life kind of a situation. So at times it's a little consuming. Whether even if you're fond of swimming, and if they say you that you have to start teaching people swimming, it will become a little consuming for you towards the end. But then at the end, it happens to everyone, whether they are doing anything that they like or they do not like.
No rain.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Naren Agarwal show. Today is going to be a fashionable episode, and let me tell you why. Today, I have on board a dreamer, a believer, and what she does is she is a fashion blogger, and she's also an image consultant living in Siliguri, India, which is the pathway to the mountains of Eastern India. Welcoming Priyanshi Jalan, the founder of A Tale of Two Girls fashion blog page on Instagram with more than 20,000 followers. Priyanshi, how are you?
Well, firstly, thank you so much, Naren, for having me here. It's an honor, and I'm very good. And as everyone, I am in amidst the pandemic, but nonetheless taking full advantage of this time and trying to focus on things which is my lifestyle blog and fashion blog, as you very well said. So yeah, thanks to the pandemic, which came as a blessing in disguise for me, I have been taking out more time to devote to it.
That's amazing. I mean, it's you put a positive twist to a tough time, and you're making use of it, and that's so important. Like so I've heard some people say, never waste a crisis, and this is a crisis, and you're not wasting it; you're using
Yes.
it. That's wonderful. I have to say, I'm jealous of your background, dude. You have a fancier background than I do. You have a green plant. You have a nice wallpaper in the background, a nice chair.
Well, I can
uh,
just say 3 years of aesthetically planning my Instagram feed, and
yeah.
that got me here.
That's awesome. Priyanshi, let me ask you by saying you have an Instagram page and you do fashion blogs with more than 20,000 followers. How did you start the page? Did you started with the mindset of growing the page? What was the journey of starting to here and running such a successful page?
Thank you so much for this. And I started it back in college where I was preoccupied with lots of assignments. Yet my friend convinced me to start it just as a time pass. So we started it and we did not devote much time given that we were still in college. It was only after college when I came back to my hometown, Siliguri. I had ample amount of time in my hands and I just started giving more time to the blog.
Hmm.
I did not realize, and I did not even plan to take it professionally. During that time, I was still involved in my family business. So I used to devote the remaining time to my blog. Eventually, I started to get offers and collaborations. Of course, I had to reach out to a lot of people, requesting them to collaborate with me, and eventually, people started to come by themselves. So today, from there to here, it's been like I just followed what I'm passionate about, and probably that just got me here.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, did you study fashion or it's something that was really in your heart and you decided to just go learn about it on the side, build knowledge and build a page on it? How was that journey?
I'm not from a fashion background. I have done my bachelor's in business administration, but my mom was always interested in fashion, and
Yeah.
probably that's what is in my genes. I was always interested in fashion, and more than fashion, it was about styling other people, but in a very comfortable way that was really attractive to me. And I got really attracted towards spreading my style idea to other people, and that's how I got related to blogging, because I just had to spread about what my styling is, what my fashion is. So that's how I came into fashion blogging.
That is amazing. So I'm actually looking forward to asking you more questions, etc. Because I don't know much about the fashion world, and I want to learn it, and especially female fashion because that's a whole different area and subject that I am not very aware about. So let me ask you first: what is fashion to you, Priyanshi? What is fashion?
According to me, fashion is anything that is latest, whatever you see is latest, whatever you want to adapt, that is by seeing other people also adapting it. According to me, that is fashion.
Huh. So something that's new, something that's latest, that is fashion.
Yeah.
The new trend, the new thing is fashion. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
I guess that applies to like technology as well, right? A new phone comes out, that's also fashion, right? A new
Yes,
smart watch comes out,
absolutely.
that's also fashion. Um, a new earphone comes out, and that's also fashion now.
Hmm.
You're so right. Anything new
Absolutely.
is fashion and fashionable. Wow. Now you're into female fashion, right? Female fashion. So how is that different from men's fashion? And what are some things that we don't know so much about women's fashion?
I would like to start by saying this, that in today's world, even when they say it's a man's world, so it's a very cliche line, but a girl can still wear pants and boys can't wear skirt. So this itself brings us to the point that girls have a wider variety when it comes to fashion, and they can experiment more and bring out their personality through fashion. It's not that men shouldn't be fashionable at all, or fashion doesn't apply to them, or style doesn't apply to them, but it's still a little restricted. You can say
Mm,
female fashion is 50% more than that of male's fashion, just because when you compare skirt and a pant. So it's there, and hence it gives a wider variety and scope to every
wow.
female to experiment with who they belong, and also if they start taking fashion as an art to exhibit their personality and appropriately getting dressed to their roles and goals, it helps them bringing out their personality, because every woman wears different caps. It's not just one role that they're playing. Every woman, whether it's your mother, my mother, they are already a housewife, and they must be having some different chores apart from being a housewife. Apart from being that, they can't be into business, so that's already two roles that they're playing. So every woman is playing two roles, two or more roles, so that's why they need to experiment more with clothes to be appropriately dressed up according to their current goal.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a very different take. I never thought about how women have more wide variety of things than
Yeah.
men. Um, so when you are looking at fashion, when you're looking at dressing somebody up, right? What are the
Hmm.
main things that you focus on? What are those 20% of the things that give 80% of the results? Like when you look at somebody and give them a makeover, what are you looking at?
The main thing is to be appropriately dressed according to their role and goal. That is, current role and goal, keeping in mind their long term goals and roles. So, if a person
Hmm.
wants to be fashionable and stylish, but at the end, if they're not fulfilling or wearing according to their current goal and role, it's never going to look fashionable or appropriate. So the first thing is to dress up according to your current roles and goals, and then according to your body and the things that suit you. I am not a believer of over the top fashion. I like being things, keeping things classic. You can dress up head to toe in classic outfits. Maybe it can be Banarsi sari, which is a classic Indian wear, or a white pair or a white shirt with black
Hmm.
trousers, and then you can just add up your personality to it by adding another element to it. So the first thing is roles and goals, and the second thing is how you balance out classic and then add up one thing which defines you probably.
So, what's an example? Let's say, let's say you're with somebody and they say they have a certain goal and a role. So, what would that be? What's an example of a goal and a role?
Suppose we take an example of a person, whether it's a man or a girl or a lady, whoever, they are into dealing with kids, and they also have some other role of corporate office. So that person has two business. One is to deal with kids, maybe as a teacher, as a coach, or teaching them something. It can be anything. And
Correct.
second, he or she has to go on a corporate office. So that brings out the two goals and roles of his life, her life.
Got
But
you.
both are absolutely different when it comes to for dressing, because in
Right.
corporate environment you need to dress up sharply, that is with sharp edge coat, a sharp edge blazer, tailor cut, so that you can have a sense of authority within you, and people actually start respecting you and not take you casually. Whereas if you wear those same authoritative clothes in front of kids, the kids start feeling intimidated by you. And that's something you don't want from the kids, because you want the kids to feel absolutely comfortable with you. So there is where you'll wear absolutely colorful clothes and casual and not at all tailor fit clothes, so that there's no barrier from the kids and you. So that's how clothing, we feel that clothing doesn't speak at all, but there's one quote which every image consultant believes, that we are never not communicating. Hence clothes, which is the first thing anyone notices about us. So it's very important that if we take it as a chance to help our clothes work for us rather than helping it go against us.
Wow, that's deep. That's awesome. I never thought of that. With the sharp edges and dealing with the
Yeah.
kids in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Some people say clothes aren't important. So, like you touched on it, but some people say, what does it matter? It's a deeper core of you. Clothes
Hmm.
aren't so important. Who pays attention? You should look deeper. What is your take on it? What do you think?
Uh, I feel that we see Mark Zuckerberg. He's always in a blue t-shirt and normal jeans. But then he's a billionaire. He can
Right.
afford to look like that. He has achieved everything by sitting behind a computer. So I won't say that clothes are the ultimate important thing, but clothes are like those extra bonus point. If you can actually take it in a way that it can give you bonus and brownie points, then it will benefit you. But if you do not want those bonus and brownie points, you can go as you like it. It might give you some negative results as well. It won't take away the 80% essence of who what you speak and what you are, but that doesn't mean that it won't help you in getting those bonus marks which you otherwise would have got if you would have dressed appropriately. So that's my take on it. Clothes are like the bonus marks. If you play it well, you will get it. Otherwise, you might as well just ignore it.
I like that. I like that. It's like it's your choice, but this is the reality that it does
Hmm.
affect people, and people do get a perception of how you from your clothing. So you can choose to play
Absolutely.
around with it. Huh. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Mark Zuckerberg thing, right? Because if you're super rich and you travel in the public transportation, you're humble. But if
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
average and you travel in public transportation, you're cheap. So
Yes.
it's yeah,
Irony
they
of
say
life. Yeah.
this person's
Hmm.
trying to save money. They're cheap. They have money, but they're taking the public transportation.
Hmm.
At least in many cultures, that's the way it's looked at.
Absolutely.
So it's very interesting that you bring the Mark Zuckerberg comparison. Priyanshi, tell me who an image consultant is. What does it mean to be an image consultant?
An image consultant is someone who can help you bring out the best version of yourself through your appearance and also the way you carry yourself. Of course, a person can't change your entire life, because every small little things brings you to the point where you are right now. But an image consultant sees you beyond you and tries to see how certain ways you can enhance yourself, whether in terms of your walking style, talking style, the way you keep your hair, or the way you talk to people, and finally, and the most important part of it is how do you keep your clothes and how you wear them. So it starts from your wardrobe. What are the things that you're buying? Is it right for you? Is it working for you? Because ultimately everyone spends money and buy the clothes. So why an image consultant just helps them spending right the money in the right way and buying something that will
Wow.
work for you. So an image consultant is like a counselor just for your overall image. That is, when you look into the mirror, we should feel good about us, and others
Wow.
should also feel good about us.
Wow. I see. I see. For example, like my grandmother is an image consultant for me. She's always asked me to shave my beard. She's like,
Wow.
whenever it goes out of hand, she's like, you gotta cut your beard. So that's kind of an image consultant, right?
Yes.
Just kidding. But that's awesome. So do you do image consulting mainly for women or men?
Currently, I'm doing it for women only because
Mm,
I'm still yet to research more about men. So
correct,
maybe someday in the future.
correct. And so here's my question: what are some common mistakes, common patterns that you see that women are like, going wrong in the way that you and in the way that you have to come and guide them? Like, what are some mistakes that they're doing?
The major mistake is not buying good quality of clothes, but buying quantity of clothes. So here is I'm not say not everyone, but majority of women somehow has tendency to buy quantity over quality, so they end up buying things that they'll only wear once, and the second time when they start for wearing it, take it out of their wardrobe, they don't like it. So if you don't like a certain piece of cloth and then also you wear it, you will automatically feel low confident, and you'll not feel good about yourself. And if you do not feel good about yourself, you'll not be in the best of your capabilities, and you'll talk to people in a maybe low voice or not so confidently. Hence other person will start thinking that you're not so confident enough, and they'll start having that perception. So it's like a whole cycle. Apart from this, women generally don't buy things which is according to their body type, but they only go after fashion. As I said, fashion is something which is latest, but style is something how you buy things according to you and style it up according to your personality. So women
I like that.
focus.
Fashion is general
Yes,
societal, but style can be
absolutely.
personal.
So
Nice.
women go after fashion rather than their personal style. So I feel there's something most of them are going wrong.
Wow, that's deep. The quality aspect of it, I never thought about it. I never thought about how it's bad for the environment too. We're buying so many clothes that we don't need, and then we
That's
buy
so
one and we don't use it.
generous.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's such a cool point that you raised. That we would be happier with lesser clothes. We would wear it more. We would
Mm-hmm.
look better, and it's good for the
Yeah.
environment. Wow, what a win-win-win. So you're doing a great job for the environment too. If you're consulting people to reduce their wardrobe with more quality clothes.
It's very generous of you to think so.
Yeah. uh, so Priyanshi, like when you say quality, like what are some clothes that work better in general for us as people who wear it that last long term, and what are some clothes and qualities that we should avoid?
I feel some things that work when it comes to men, a good fitted shirt, that too of a very good high quality cotton in a solid color, whether it's white or black, will always work for them instead of going for printed shirt. And they can go for tailored fit coat, which will always work for them instead of going for something in a very brighter color. Of course, bright color do look good. Sometimes it will break the monotony and bring out your personality. But if you want to build a wardrobe from scratch, you should first go for safer items and classic items in solid color which can be mixed and matched. And then when you add up, these things should be in majority, and then you can probably add up 1 2 colors in your wardrobe which can be further mixed and matched. And when it comes to women, always going for pure fabric instead of synthetic fabric is like number one thing.
Mm,
And instead of going for fast fashion brands and buying in bulk, you can rather go for customization and buy from higher end brands, but which will serve you longer. It might be costlier for once, but at the end they are going to last longer because the quality of stitching that goes into it. And that's how we can see when it comes to especially women's clothing, we see that the saris and the lehengas which our moms still have of their wedding is still latest because it's made from pure silk, pure Banarsi silk, and it has all hand woven zari and work. Instead, nowadays people go for cheap machine work. It might look good once, but you can't wear it often, and hence you will end up looking a little lower than what is
mm.
expected from you. So that's how it works. Only go for pure fabric and go for slow fashion, something that will last longer. Might be expensive ones, but it will serve you long.
Nice, I like that. Priyanshi, this is a tough question that's coming to my mind, and I wanna get an answer from you, like as to what you think. we're always caught in between these things, especially I think women a lot in our society, where there's a societal expectation of how you should dress, and there's
Hmm.
an internal expectation that you want to dress a certain way, right? Um, how do you think of this, and where should someone stand according to you? Because that's a big dichotomy that we always face, and especially I think women in our society face. So, what's your stance on that?
I somehow believe that it's not completely, this side is also not wrong, this side is also not wrong. Because at the end, we are dressing up, of course, we are dressing up for ourselves, but we are dressing up to go outside where people are going to see us. So if we want to bring a rebel image of us, that we are rebellious, we can do anything that we want. Suppose if we are into creative work where we are painting something or creating art, and we don't have to follow rules, and if that is the time where I make it a point to dress up not according to societal norms, then it's absolutely all right, because I want my image to come out as a
I
rebellious
like that.
person.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But somehow I feel, if I want to work with people, if I have a business where I want people to trust me and come to me and then take my services, so that is the time I want to build a good image. So I have to somehow be in societal norms. Of course, that doesn't mean that I've listened to everyone, but at least what is general societal norms and what is expected from any person of that stature or business background. When it comes to dressing up for work especially, or for your clients, you need to follow societal norms, because at the end you need people to work for you, and if you want to be amongst the society
Mm.
and build a good trust relationship with your clients, that clients need to believe that yes, you're not someone who will go against the societal norms or be absolutely rebellious. So I feel it's absolutely what kind of image you want to portray, and also where you are. So I'm
Ah,
in
I like that a
between.
lot. Okay, so
Yeah.
tell me about you. Yeah, you're in between, you say?
I'm in between. It's like, suppose if I am, or as every person, whether it's you or it's me, we play different roles and goals. Suppose I am going for work and I'm expecting to meet a client. So I need to be dressed up in an appropriate way so that the person believes me and also is comfortable with me and is not at all intimidated by me. But suppose if I'm going to a rock concert and I'm the same person, but then my role is different. I'm no longer meeting a client. So there is somewhere where I can experiment, go wild, and no one is going to question me. Even if my client sees me there, he or she is not going to question me that why you dressed up accordingly. So it's all about your current role and goal that you want to portray at that very moment.
That's right. Nice. This reminds me of a funny example, but it's very different, but it relates to what you said. There's so many monks and sadhus in India, and a
Hmm.
lot of them who live in the cities, like in Banaras or in societies, and who beg and eat. They are wearing robes and clothes, and they cover themselves. But then there's a whole different sect of sadhus who are the Naga sadhus, or who are totally naked,
Yes,
and they go into the Himalayas, and they're away from society. Um, and they,
absolutely.
so even they in some way are following that societal norm, um, and maintaining, um, what you said, like, doing what works
Hmm.
for them, and also
Yes.
keeping in mind what works around them. So
Whatever
that's
message.
pretty cool.
Yes.
Exactly the kind of stuff that they want to carry forward. Priyanshi, let me ask you this. So I always wear this coat, this Indian Nehru jacket,
Yeah.
bandi, whatever you call it.
Yes.
What sort of an image does this bring out? Like, what sort of an image does this give out? I've never really thought so much about it. But what do you think?
I feel since you're layering up, so you're kind of restricting all kinds of people to talk to you, but that doesn't mean that you're not friendly. You are friendly, but you want to look a little professional because you're layering it up and not at all look extremely casual about your work. So it shows seriousness, and also that you want to have some filter while people talk to you. They should have certain kind of filter while they talk to you. This is an image. And also, secondly, because you're choosing to wear something of Indian origin, so you want to bring out kind of your culture and you are keen in showing, and you're very keen in showing that even though you want to have certain filter, but you will stick to your culture and not. That's the image a body can give out.
That's pretty cool. I've never really thought about the first one. Yeah, maybe in some way, especially because in business, I do wear this. And you're right. The second part is so true. Like, even though we're making content that's relevant to everybody, but I really want the Indian side of me to be shown. So that's pretty cool. Wow, wow, wow. The way you interpreted that, I think it makes so much sense to me. I think that was there that deep thing within me that wanted to show. Yes, I am from India, and I wanted to show it up like maybe even more than just my skin color. My
That's
toes.
a really great take, and whatever you're doing, it's really good that you are trying to show up your culture. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Priyanshi. What kind of changes can image consulting bring? Can it transform somebody really if they're feeling low, or it just works on like helping somebody look better and creating a good impression? But or can it also change somebody internally if they're feeling low, if they're depressed, if they're anxious? Can image consulting change an internal of a person, or just the external way people look at a person?
I feel the people who comes to an image consultant know that they lack in in something related to their appearance. So their appearance become a major factor that makes them feel bad about themselves or insecure. Not necessarily bad, insecure. So if a person is coming to an image consultant, we can automatically assume that he or she is unsatisfied with her looks. And then, if an image consultant tries to focus on highlighting the other things he or she is good at and trying to cover up the things he or she is insecure at, either covering up or trying to change it, then it's like a cycle. A person starts feeling more secure as a person. If a person starts feeling more secure, he or she will start feeling confident. If they start feeling confident, they'll dress up every day according to a confident person. If they start dressing up as a confident person, you will talk as a confident person. Now, if you start talking as a confident person, other people will also start taking you as a confident person. And at the end, if other people start taking you as a confident person, you will start believing that, yes, I'm confident. So it's again a cycle, and it has a rippling effect, goes on increasing and increasing.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so true. I think sometimes when we are not confident, the other person does not take us as a confident person, and then we lose more confidence. But if we
Yes.
show confidence, the other person thinks, wow, then we gain more confidence. It's such a cycle. Huh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Priyanshi, you um, started a page and it became your passion, and you now run it with a lot of your heart. Some people say, you should not make your passion your work. But is that true for you? Do you agree with that statement? Does something that you love become a burden after you start doing it as work, or is that not true for you? What do you think?
At the end, every work needs a lot of determination, and it needs a lot of effort and hard work. And every human being at the end, they want comfort. But if they get comfort in excess, that's when they want hard work. It's it's a never being satisfied with your life kind of a situation. So at times it's a little consuming. Whether even if you're fond of swimming, and if they say you that you have to start teaching people swimming, it will become a little consuming for you towards the end. But then at the end, it happens to everyone, whether they are doing anything that they like or they do not like. So but when you cross that space of excess of burden, when you have so much of work to do, but then again when you have lighter days, then that's when you miss those days when you had excess work. So I feel it's not the kind of work or passion, it's all about human tendencies of always seeking out better in the other situation. We are never satisfied with what we have, And it's not just about me, it's about with everyone. No one is really satisfied with whatever they have today. They always like yesterday better or will want tomorrow better.
That's a deep take on that question. That's awesome. Priyanshi, do you prefer Indian styling more or Western styling? And what's your favorite style of clothing? If I were to ask.
I I prefer Indian styling more than the Western clothes, but of course, because of the societal norms, if I living in a city, if I decide to wear Indian clothes every day, it's not wrong. But somehow it might not give out the correct message that I'm trying to portray to the world. So, but I would prefer more of Indian styling rather than Western styling, because Indian styling is so versatile and it has no limits to it. It's so vibrant. And if you start seeing how everything got started, when you see any kind of prints, how it began, and why did the artisans start doing these things according to the kind of things that was available nearby, they started doing or producing this quality of clothes and print. So really interesting. Hence I would anyway prefer Indian styling more. But given the fact that we are living in the 21st century, where we have accepted the Western culture a lot, and it's no wrong, it's globalization, nothing can stop it, and it's not looking down upon it. I really like Western clothing also.
That's awesome. Priyanshi, it was such a good talk with you. I got to learn so much about fashion, looking at the world from an image consultant's point of view. You really had some interesting points. I really liked the role and the goal thing that you mentioned. Dressing, but for what? What's the role and the goal? And then you work upon it rather than first just look at the dressing. Having said that, anything finally that you want to add or any questions that you have for me?
I would really like to know about what is your take and what do you first see in a person?
Honestly, the first thing that really grabs my attention in a person is whether they're smiling or not, or whether they're frowning. Because I think that automatically gives the brain a 50% jolt. He was, is this person happy or sad? And then automatically you have to make the frame of mind on how to approach that person. Because if you see the lips upward, you can be a certain way. And if you see that they're not looking a certain type of way and then they're not smiling and their mood is maybe okayish or down, then you got to approach a certain type of way, because communication is really about also what the kind of energy you give in. So if a person is in a certain state and you give a certain type of energy, they might not receive it. So the smile gives me the state of mind the person is in, and then I know what kind of energy to give, whether it's high, low, and where to match them. I guess that's what I first look at a person. And they say, the best thing you can wear is a smile. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, very correct. And that's what sets up the entire tone. And
correct,
then you have to be in harmony with what you're feeling at the end.
correct. Awesome. Priyanshi, it was so good to have you on the show. Folks who want to get in touch with Priyanshi, you can go check out a page, A Tale of Two Girls, um, and there you can find her fashion blogging. Thank you so much, Priyanshi, once again for being on the show.
Thank you, Naren, for having me on the show. Honestly, I'm so humbled and so energized for the entire week, upcoming week. I really want to have your level of energy. So maybe someday we can get together to understand from where does Naren get so much energy from.
You're very kind. Thank you, Priyanshi. What a lovely time having you.
Same
Bye
here,
bye.
Naren. Bye bye. Take care.